let me let you in on a little secret. You're gonna get sick when you travel. In fact, you're not only gonna get sick, you're gonna lose your wallet, get your telephone stolen, and probably miss your flight. One viewer's comment got me thinking recently. He asked, do I worry about digestive problems when I'm eating street food, when I'm traveling around the world? Yeah, well, I've been vomiting, I've had diarrhea. Let me tell you the stories. Back in Argentina, maybe about 8 years ago, I was traveling around for about 1 week on the western side of the country near the Andes. And of course, it's the home of beef, it's the home of steak. I was having steak almost every night. One night, back in my room, there was some sickness going around our group, and man, I got back to my room, my head was spinning, I didn't feel well. I laid down on my bed and just chilled out there for a few hours, and then finally I got up, went to the bathroom, and vomited. The next morning I felt okay, and we had a big trip planned up into the Andes that day, up to a peak, up to a pass around about 2,500 meters. And I had to get going on it, and there was a long bus ride, and I was sitting at the back of the bus, and I continued not to feel well, and I laid myself out on the back of the bus seat, and all of a sudden it came on. And I turned to the guy beside me. They'd given us some free hats to wear, and I said, hey, Jose, give me your hat. Because all of a sudden I had to throw up and I had nowhere to do it. And I threw up in his hat, and at this time, as I was throwing up in his hat, the bus driver was stopping the bus for me, and everybody was getting off the bus. They saw me throwing up, and I too started to make my way up the aisle to get off the bus. Threw up one more time before I was able to get off the bus. Threw up another time when I got off the bus, and everybody was looking at me like, my God. Yeah, and it was rough. And the rest of the day was rough, and later on that afternoon as well, I was doing some work up there in the mountains, and I lost my parasol sunglasses. They fell off somewhere, and I'm hooked around my shirt. That's a reason you should never take them off, always keep them on. And a couple days passed, and I felt okay, I felt better. It happened again another time when I was traveling in the south of China, this time on the island of Hainan, probably around 5 years ago. And I always make a point, like I share in these videos, when you're traveling, don't get stuck into the Western places. Don't get stuck into having dinner every night in your hotel. Get out and enjoy the local ambiance, the street food. See what's on offer, go to those small places. And I was doing that every night, even though we had free food on offer in the hotels for the guest. And I remember this one night, another one of these nights, I was eating on a little rickety table, sitting on a type of stool like that one there in the street, just enjoying some food. And I remember I saw a couple of rats go by in this outdoor restaurant, but nothing too unusual. I mean, even here in Bangkok, when you're sitting around a restaurant, every now and then you might see a cockroach run by. Didn't think much about it. Got back to my room that night. I was having to do some work on my computer, trying to concentrate. My head felt funny. And all of a sudden it came on. I ran to the bathroom, and I couldn't even lean over the toilet. I just vomited right into the shower, and I vomited 2 or 3 times. And then went to bed. Made sure I had enough water, hydrated. The next day, ate just plain white rice. And about midday the next day, I felt better. All was okay. One other time I was in Tel Aviv, and we had been there traveling around Israel for about a week. And well, I go to leave, and this booking agency who booked my flight made a mistake. I was due to fly out on April 10th. It was around 7:30 in the morning. My friend Aaron and I, like idiots in Jerusalem, we'd found an Irish bar, and we'd been drinking all night. And we got to the airport at 5 a.m. I think I was still drunk. If not, severely hungover. Anyway, get up to the check-in counter to check in, and she says, "Sir, you're not on this flight." My friend Aaron had already checked in. I said, "What do you mean I'm not on this flight?" She said, "No, the flight's for May 10th. I said, "What?" "Yeah, today's April 10th. It's for May 10th. So I had to run and go buy another ticket. She said, "Well, there's still a few seats on the flight." And I had to go buy another ticket because I had to get out. I couldn't stay in Israel for another month, even though I like Israel, but I didn't want to stay there for another month. So I went and bought a ticket. There are all sorts of things like this, vomiting, diarrhea, that happen when you're traveling. And another time when I was in India, my first and only time in India, I went up north to Nasik, north of Bombay, and also spent some time in Bombay. And on the last night, my friend Andy and I found some clubs. We were out drinking, and it was a great time, meeting some cool locals. On the way out, there was a beggar who's asking for money, nothing too unusual when you're traveling around India. Didn't think about it, got all the way home, all the way to the hotel, and then realized I didn't have my phone. Somebody pickpocketed me, and this was back in the day. That was my first ever smartphone. It was an HTC. It had like a little kick, it looked like a skateboard. It was my first smartphone, and I lost it in Bombay, in Mumbai, and it was gone. Good memory of a first smartphone. And even recently, diarrhea hit me again. And it was funny because when I read that comment, the comment came from Bruce. When I read the comment, I kind of laughed about it because I just recovered from some diarrhea. Yeah. It happened to me up in Chiang Mai. Right now I'm in Bangkok, north of here, up in Chiang Mai, in the northern part of Thailand. My last day there, I don't know what happened. It must have been some bacteria in the food or something somewhere that didn't set right, or something wasn't clean. The next day I noticed, wasn't feeling too bad, but just I had to go to the bathroom a few times during the day, diarrhea, and it stuck with me for about 4 or 5 days until finally just today, in the last couple days, I'm eating street food again. It passed. I'm eating street food again. I'm back on the spicy food. So you're gonna get sick. You're gonna lose your wallet, lose your phone. Someone's gonna rip you off along the way. You're gonna miss flights, but you're gonna have a hell of a time doing so. You're gonna have a hell of a time out there traveling, living it up, having these experiences. If I worried about these things every time I needed to plan a trip or thought about traveling, I would never leave my house. And in 20 years of traveling around the globe, I just have these 2 big stories of food poisoning sickness, the one in Argentina and the one of China, to tell you. And about every 12 to 18 months, yeah, I get hit with some stomach thing, diarrhea. I'm on the toilet for 2 to 3 days, lose a few kilos, which is never a bad thing, but only 2 or 3 stories over 20 years. And so the odds are it's not that bad. And my advice to you is just get out there and explore, because the more you get out, the more you explore these places, the more you're gonna learn, and learn about your body as well, and what you can and can't eat, and what's good and what's bad for you, places you should avoid, places you should seek out as well when you're traveling, and how to spot the scammers and how to spot the friendly people when you're in these new environments and these new cities and these new countries. The more you get out there, the more you explore, and the more you push your limits. Look, I didn't grow up eating spicy food. I didn't know about a lot of this exotic food, and maybe you're the same as me. I mean, heck, when I was growing up, lasagna, well, that was exotic for me, and I had grilled cheese, and I was eating the packets of Quaker oatmeal, simple stuff. And it wasn't until I got out and explored that my whole eyes and system and being opened up to spicy food, to all sorts of dishes around the globe. And it's not just the food, but when you're out there eating these other dishes, you're opening yourself up to new cultures, and it's a way to also meet new people. The other night here I came down from the SkyTrain, the MRT line right over here. I'm at the Prongpong station in the M district, and I saw this place. It's always busy around 5, 6 o'clock when the workers are getting off of work, and huge lineup for some chicken rice. Great white rice with steamed or roasted chicken, fried chicken on top. And I was in line there, I was talking to this pretty girl, and I said, hey, is this place pretty good? It looks pretty famous. And she said, yeah, it's really good. I come here a lot. Sat down with her, we talked for a little bit, and then when it was time to go, I made sure I paid for her dinner. Nothing much, 120 baht for 2 plates, and just made a new friend along the way. So getting out there and doing this, you're exploring, you're gonna meet new people and have new adventures and maybe have some problems along the way. One story I have for you is about eating raw chicken in Tokyo. Yeah, raw chicken, the heart, the liver, and the breast. It was actually pretty darn good. I have a video coming up on the channel about that where you can see how I got into it. I'd probably never do it anywhere else outside of Tokyo, but there, Tokyo, they know what they're doing. Chicken sashimi right there in the Shibuya district. The famous place I wanted to go to was closed, and so I was there on my phone looking up another place that was serving chicken sashimi, and I found a place and I got in and ate it. My advice when you're out there exploring and looking for places, if you're a bit unsure on what's good and what's not, is look for those local places, yes, but also look for those local places that are busy with locals, because you know if they're going there that it's a trustworthy place and you're probably not gonna get sick. Look at the beautiful park out over this way. Big buildings, I just love Bangkok. The other thing too is adjust your perception on what is cleanliness. Yes, you want a place that looks like it has decent food and safety standards, of course, but you're gonna have to make adjustments if you're ever gonna be able to travel around the world and explore and try new things, because your perception on cleanliness is just that, your perception. So adjust your perception, look through different lenses when you're out exploring different parts of the world. Look, I recovered from the food poisoning I had there in Argentina. I think I'm gonna go around this way. I recovered from the food poisoning in Argentina and in China. I got another telephone, and luckily I had my data backed up. I don't think there was Google Cloud back in the day, but I had it saved some way. And I got on another flight out of Israel, and I've recovered recently from my diarrhea, and I'm back to eating the spicy food. Bruce, I appreciate your question, and I'm not singling you out because you asked a question at a time when I was just recovering from diarrhea, and I was thinking to myself about this, and I've received these questions from other viewers like you out there before. How do I deal with this? So it was a topic that I wanted to share with the rest of you. How do you deal with this? How do you plan and consider eating when you're out traveling around in new environments out of your safety zone? But be careful along the way and take certain precautions. One thing I recommend is traveler's insurance. And yeah, in these recent years, I've started to use traveler's insurance, and one I can recommend, and there are different ones out there, so see what's best for you, but it's Safety Wing Nomad Insurance, and they cover you for a particular time. You can decide, and it's super easy. You can buy it all online, and also they cover you for short stints when you're back into your home country as well. I'm gonna drop a link in the description down below for that so you can check it out and decide for yourself. But get out there and explore those local little markets, the local food stalls, and try the street food. Try a lot of it. Try new things, because traveling is all about trying new things, not just seeing new places, but trying the foods, digging into the local dishes and helping understand your perception, because with the local foods, you'll get a better understanding of the local culture as well. And places like this, here in Bangkok, the street food scene is insane, and it's perhaps none better than in Chinatown. So you can check it all out here in this video.